Hey everybody, welcome to The Trench. My name is Christian, and today we're going to talk about practicing death by fasting. Last week when we explored how we are supposed to be people who live for others, we discussed that there's one really large obstacle to such a way of life: ourselves. We frequently get in the way of ourselves serving other people because we're so preoccupied with our own lives, our own fears, our own dreams or desires. We are imprisoned by our love for ourselves. Luckily, the Church in her wisdom gives us a really practical tool, a way of practicing dying to ourselves so that we can live for others. Any guesses as to what it might be? Yep! Fasting! And wouldn't you know it, tomorrow is the beginning of the Nativity fast. Raise your hand if you're super excited about it. Are you raising your hand? Because I can't tell. Obviously, fasting is one of those things that we're always told that we should do, but maybe we think of it as like a sacred diet, a period of time where we give up certain foods that we really like and settle for ones that we're less than excited about. If you're like me, you've probably asked why it is that we can't eat meat and cheese for 40 days, and you've probably received a couple of answers. You've probably heard about how abstaining from particular foods for a period can help us develop discipline in order to abstain from sins in the future. For example, by refraining from eating meat for 40 days, we begin to develop the discipline needed to refrain from becoming really angry. Or maybe you've heard that we're supposed to think less about the food that we eat and more about focusing on prayer. The idea being that if we're spending less time and energy thinking about all these food options, then we have more time and energy to focus on prayer. These are definitely true and definitely good reasons for fasting, but today I want to focus on another reason that we fast, and it has to do primarily with this self-love, with our self-centered way of life, and how fasting frees us from the prison of our own will. We want what we want when we want it, and for the most part, we're used to getting it. Or we get really frustrated when somebody inconveniences us or gets in the way of us getting what we want. The Church, however, steps in and offers us fasting as a way of practicing putting our own desires aside, practicing at dying to ourselves as we joyfully, voluntarily surrender our will over something as simple as what we eat. We have become accustomed to having our own way. We are so used to getting things how we want them that fasting seems like a really strange thing to us. We're not used to giving up control of our own lives. So, sometimes we may even look at the fast of the Church and see that it prescribes abstaining from meat and cheese, but think, well, I don't really like meat and cheese as much as I like chocolate. Maybe I just won't eat chocolate for 40 days. This might not seem like a major issue in fasting. After all, I'm resisting eating something that I really want, and that takes discipline, right? Well, right, but it's still a problem. You see, the problem is that I am self-obsessed. I'm so used to doing whatever I want that I have still made myself the final word in this scenario. Instead of actively putting my will aside, I've actually placed it in the center of my spiritual life. Fasting is a practice that is meant to be taken up voluntarily, wherein I put my will aside and allow the Church to choose for me how I will eat. Of course, some of us may have certain dietary needs, and we should discuss how we fast with our spiritual father. But either way, the point is that the nature of the fast is that it is not something that I choose for myself, but rather is something I willingly submit myself to. I mean, I know this might not seem like a really big deal, but it kind of is. It actually goes against why we fast in the first place. The purpose of fasting is to use my body to teach my soul that it's not all about me. It's not all about doing what I want to do. Fasting is an attempt to rid my soul of its obsession with itself, of feeling the need to exercise its will at every moment of every day. By fasting, I'm actually practicing death to myself, practicing dying to my own desires as I take an uncomfortable step out of the center of my own life. And this is how I learn to make room for other people, but it takes continual practice. This is why the Church prescribes that we fast twice a week and even offers several extended periods of fasting throughout the year. You see, the more I practice willingly putting myself aside, willingly be uncomfortable and inconvenienced, the more ready I'll be to put myself aside and to be inconvenienced and uncomfortable for somebody else's sake when they need me. Fasting is a form of asceticism. The Greek word askesis means exercise or training, practice. It is practicing voluntary death to ourselves so that we can become people who live for others. By willingly putting down that burger or putting down that pizza, we actively take up the cross, choosing to imitate Christ with a very simple first step toward emptying ourselves of ourselves. The whole point of the Christian life is love for God and love for our neighbor, but we can't do either if we're too busy loving ourselves. But the Church, in her wisdom, helps us take ourselves out of the center of our lives simply by saying no to ourselves and yes to the Lord. So join the fight. Live Orthodoxy. Remember to like and subscribe, and join the rest of us inside the trench. Good grief, finally. I had to record this 3 times all the way through because I forgot to turn on the microphone, not once, but twice. Twice I did it. So I recorded it twice without sound being recorded, and then now thrice, once with sound being recorded, twice with it not, thrice all around. You would think that by now I could just do the whole thing in one take. And maybe I should just do that, just in case I, in fact, forgot to record the sound again. But here's to hoping. Right? Guys?